Hello and welcome to what should hopefully be a good long-running series on the subject of my abstaining from wankery and being disciplined as I can be and noticing the effects in the lack thereof, discipline and abstaining from wankery. So without further ado, as per usual, let's enable the voice pitch analyzer. So the last time we officially did this test, I believe, was the 29th, and then I haven't done a recording since then. This recording I did was from a few days ago, but I did not record it for upload to YouTube, so let's just delete that one, and we'll only keep the ones that we've made videos on for the record. Let's enable the recording. The recording is on. Let's bring up the magnificent book and begin. The Penguin Sherlock Holmes Collection, A Study in Scarlet, by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, dubbed The Literary Super Sleuth by Daily Express. Chapter 1, page 3. Mr. Sherlock Holmes. In the year 1878, I took my degree of Doctor of Medicine of the University of London and proceeded to Netley to go through the course prescribed for surgeons in the Army. Having completed my studies there, I was duly attached to the 5th Northumberland Fusiliers as assistant surgeon. The regiment was stationed in India at the time, and before I could join it, the Second Afghan War had broken out. On landing at Bombay, I learned that my corps had advanced through the passes and was already deep in the enemy's country. I followed, however, with many other officers who were in the same situation as myself, and succeeded in reaching Kandahar in safety, where I found my regiment, and at once entered upon my new duties. The campaign brought honors and promotion to many, but for me it had nothing but misfortune and disaster. I was removed from my brigade and attached to the Berkshires, with whom I served at the fatal battle of Maiwand. There I was struck on the shoulder by a jezail bullet, which shattered the bone and grazed the subclavian artery. I should have fallen into the hands of the murderous Gazy, had it not been for the devotion and courage shown by Murray, my orderly, who threw me across a pack-horse and succeeded in bringing me safely to the British lines. Worn with pain and weak from prolonged hardships which I had undergone, I was removed, with a great train of wounded sufferers, to the base hospital at Peshawar. Here I rallied, and had already improved so far as to be able to walk about the wards, and even to bask a little upon the veranda, when I was struck down by enteric fever, that curse of our Indian possessions. For months my life was despaired of, and when at last I came to myself and became convalescent, I was so weak and emaciated that a medical board determined that not a day should be lost in sending me back to England. I was dispatched accordingly in the troop ship Orontes, and landed a month later on the Portsmouth jetty, with my health irretrievably ruined, but with permission from a paternal government to spend the next 9 months in attempting to improve it. I had neither kith nor kin in England, and was therefore as free as air, or as free as an income of 11 shillings and 6 pence a day will permit a man to be. Under such circumstances, I naturally gravitated to London, that great cesspool into which all the loungers and idlers of the empire are irresistibly drained. There I stayed for some time at a private hotel in the Strand, leading a comfortless, meaningless existence, and spending such money as I had considerably more freely than I ought. So alarming did the state of my finances become that I soon realized that I must either leave the metropolis and rusticate somewhere in the country, or that I must make a complete alteration in my style of living. Choosing the latter alternative, I began by making up my mind to leave the hotel and to take up choosing the latter alternative, I began by making up my mind to leave the hotel and to take up my quarters in some less pretentious and less expensive domicile. On the very day that I had come to this conclusion, I was standing at the Satyrian bar when someone tapped me on the shoulder, and turning round, I recognized young Stamford, who had been a dresser under me at Bart's. The sight of a friendly face in the great wilderness of London is a pleasant thing indeed to a lonely man. In old days, Stamford had never been a particular crony of mine, but now I hailed him with enthusiasm, and he, in his turn, appeared to be delighted to see me. In the exuberance of my joy, I asked him to lunch with me at the Holborn, and we started off together in a hansom. "Whatever have you been doing with yourself, Watson?" he asked in undisguised wonder, as we rattled through the crowded London streets. "You are as thin as a lathe, and as brown as a nut." I gave him a short sketch of my adventures, and had hardly concluded it by the time that we reached our destination. "Poor devil," he said, commiseratingly, after he had listened to my misfortunes. "What are you up to now?" "Looking for lodgings," I answered, trying to solve the problem as to whether it is possible to get comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. "That's a strange thing," remarked my companion. "You are the second man today that has used that expression to me." "And who was the first?" I asked. "A fellow who is working at the chemical laboratory up at the hospital. He was bemoaning himself this morning because he could not get someone to go halves with him." And so concludes our first 3 pages of the book, and now we can conclude. And there we are. Quite a wide range. Let's see the graphs and the details. The midpoint's extraordinarily feminine. Plenty of spikes, wide-ranging spikes. Spikes here, there, and everywhere. General average, 113 hertz. Minimum, quite low. Maximum, extraordinarily high. Minimum average, particularly low. Maximum average, particularly high. Now let's compare this piece of data collected with the others. So we're now, I believe, on episode 5, and so here is the first test, and that was from a period of particular lack of discipline and intensive wankery. And then a week passed, good improvement, and then a considerable more amount of time passed and I slacked. Then some time passed and I got back to it, and now it's been a considerable amount of time and I've maintained discipline for a steady, what is this? Let's go back to the overall data. So on 2024-05-29, that's May 29th, that was a week of discipline, and spoilers for last, so it's not really spoilers. The period, so this being the 5th episode and the 4th episode were disciplined. The 3rd episode, not disciplined, and the 1st episode, not disciplined. So we've had 2 episodes total, being 2024-05-01, not disciplined, and then 2024-05-09, disciplined, 2024-05-20, not disciplined, 2024-05-29, disciplined, and 2024-06-07, disciplined. So I did say on the 1st of this month I would get some medical testing done, and we have exceptional news that I'll only lightly touch on in this video, and then I'll explain
my present mental state to give an upkeep on the experience of this whole process. All right, so the test results. I was tested for all sorts of hormonal things, and up to and including testosterone. I was tested on, I believe, 4 points. 3 of them are acronyms I can't particularly recall, and they have less obvious ramifications and less obvious statistical meanings. Like, I can't really tell higher number better, lower number worse, or is it lower number better, higher number worse, or is it some sweet spot in between, Little Red Riding Hood and the Three Bears type situation of I don't know. But I do know that I got the testosterone checked, and I'm sitting at a 28.8 NMOL /L. So I think that's like nanomolecules of liters or something per blah, 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 fucking science gobbledygook. Anyways, and I looked this up. I'm pretty solid. I got good stats. I got good stats on testosterone. I'm higher than average by about 20%, with 28.8 on the NMOL per L thingy. So that's good, and I'll do another video going into details on the other statistics, and hopefully next week we'll see on a sperm test, and we'll see if I'm virile. We'll see if I've got the goods, because what is this all for in the end? All of this is for me seeing where I stand and what I can make of myself. That's essentially it. How presentable I am externally, and how well comprised I am internally. Yeah, that's the essential point. So, on the matter of internal composition, my mental internal composition is unfathomably fucking flurried and tumultuous. So, it's bad. It's indescribably bad to be indisciplined with wankery, but I'm noticing it's indescribably almost verging on untenable to be disciplined as well, as I'm finding, because I'm just so high-sprung with energy and passions of late. And even if I put my mind towards thinking of what my priorities should be and how I should conduct myself throughout the day, and planning things and following through with actions, everything takes me too long, and I divert and deviate course, which is why I should have made this video about 2 or 3 days ago. And yeah, that didn't take place because, oh, well, the mind goes, oh, what about all these other things? And I found everything is so captivating and enjoyable that it's kind of hard to pull out of kind of stupors. Yeah. So anyways, with all this yammering done, I'll leave it here with a fervent hope and a prayer that I can comport myself properly and keep up this habit and see where it leads even further, because this has only been about 2-3 weeks of continual discipline. Next week, I'm assuming we'll break that spell, because of the testing that will be done. And then after that, once the testing's done, there'll be no need to break the spell. And I'll have all the data, so I can keep at it for as long as it seems like the right thing to do. Right now, I've just lived a life of erratic mayhem. So using this as something to stabilize and focus myself is a great benefit. Anyways, we'll call it there. Bye for now.